Alright, since we are in the holiday season, I figured we'd take all these ingredients right here and we're going to make a tasty, hopefully 2 or 3 level carrot cake. Alright, so first we're going to do 3 cups of flour. I buy pre-sifted. If you don't buy pre-sifted, just make sure you sift it. So here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Next we're going to do 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. There's 1. There's 2. Next is 1 tablespoon of salt. Sorry, teaspoon. Small spoon. Small one, not big one. We're going to do 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Make sure you use baking powder and not baking soda. If you use baking soda, your carrots will turn green. And although there's nothing wrong with green carrots, it just looks less than appealing when you're serving it. So here we go. There's 1.5 right there. And we're going to whisk this all together. We're going to be mixing it with our wet mix here in a moment, which is what we're going to start on next. But just give it a couple tosses, make sure it's nice and even throughout. Alright, next we start on our wet mix. We're going to start with 1 cup of brown sugar. We're going to do 1/2 cup of white sugar, 3 eggs. That's 1. That is 2. And that is 3. One of my New Year's resolutions would be to learn how to crack eggs one-handed, but I have not yet mastered that. We're going to do a teaspoon of cardamom, 2 teaspoons vanilla extract. There's 1. There's 2. Alright, next we're going to do a cup of oil, vegetable oil to be specific, but we're not just going to pour the entire thing all at once. We're going to pour a little bit in, we're going to mix it, and then we're going to pour a little bit more in. So there's our first little amount. Pour a little bit more in. And the last little amount. There you go. So that's what you're going to be left with. It should look kind of like soupy peanut butter. Alright, now to this, we are going to add golden raisins, just because they're a little bit sweeter. So golden raisins, we're also going to add our carrots. I'm going to do 2 bags of carrots. This is pre-shredded. Obviously, you'd want to use like a box shredder or something if you were going to shred it yourself. Keep in mind, you know, if you do like 1 bag of carrots, that's kind of going to be like a light carroty taste. I'm going to do 2 bags, so it's not overwhelming carrot taste, but you can definitely taste that it is carrot cake. So we're going to start off with 1 cup of raisins. Maybe we'll actually do 1.5 cups. Alright, here's the additional 1/2 cup. There we go. Now we're going to add our carrots. Alright, so bag 1 of carrots. We're actually going to mix this up before I add the second bag here. So here we go, all mixed. I'm going to make an executive call and just say that we're going to do 1 bag of carrots. 2 seems like quite a lot. So our last ingredient in our wet mix, we're going to do 1 cup of crushed pineapple. That is going to keep it moist and add a nice little sweet tanginess to the actual cake. Alright, so that's what we look like. We're all mixed. Now we are going to add our flour mix from earlier. We're not just going to dump it all in there at once. We are going to do about a cup at a time, maybe a little less, and then we're going to mix it. There's the first cup. We'll go ahead and mix that. Alright, here comes the second cup. There we go. We'll go ahead and mix that. Alright, and we're going to add this last cup here. And we'll go ahead and mix that. Alright, so we're all mixed. This is what you should be left with. Kind of a soupy looking cake mix, peanut butter colored. You should definitely see chunks of carrots and all the stuff that you added in there. Next, we're going to set this aside for 1 second. We're going to get our cooking pans ready. So, we're going to take some oil, just whatever you have. I'm going to use just generic olive oil. And we're just going to take a capful and put it on the inside here. We're going to take our fingers and we're going to go around and grease the entire pan here. Now, we have some pre-cut wax paper, or you can use parchment paper, basically the same thing. And we're just going to put it right in here in the bottom. This is just going to prevent sticking. And we're going to just kind of lightly grease the top right there of that parchment paper, wax paper. So there you go, that's what it should look like, and we're going to do that to all 3 pans. Alright, so here we go, we got all 3 pans greased, we got the parchment paper down. Next we are going to go ahead and pour our cake mix into each one of these 3 pans. Alright, there we go. So we got our 3 pans, we got our cake mix in there. Just make sure you get in there with like a small little spatula and kind of spread it evenly. You don't really want, you know, one side of the cake to be thicker than the other or anything like that. Alright, we're going to go ahead and put this in 350 for about 20 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and put it in. Oven's already preheated, and we are going to put 20 minutes on the clock. So here we go. And during that 20 minutes, we're going to start on the icing. Alright, for the icing, we're going to start with some good old-fashioned cream cheese. This is just some Philadelphia, just plain old cream cheese. We're going to do about 12 ounces, so in this case that is a stick and a half. Alright, next we're going to add 1 cup of butter. And you'll see here it's got the measurements there on the side. So 2 sticks of butter, 2 full sticks. I cut them up into little pieces like this because we're going to mix all of this. And it makes it quite a bit easier instead of just mixing full sticks of butter. Also, try to make sure that the cream cheese and the butter is at room temperature. If they are coming right out of the fridge, it's going to be a real struggle to get it all mixed. Alright, next we're going to do 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. There's our full teaspoon. Here is our half. Alright, so we're going to give this a little mix. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add 2 cups of powdered sugar, but I just want to give this a little bit of a mix so that way it's a bit easier once we start adding the sugar. Alright, so this is what we got. Looks very much like the icing that it's going to become. So next we're going to add 2 cups. We're going to use powdered sugar. Just generic powdered sugar right there. Alright, here we go. Cup 1. And then we're going to mix, same as before. We're not just going to dump it all in at once and mix it together. We're going to add it a cup at a time. Alright, so there we go. 2 cups of powdered sugar added in. That's our icing. So we're just going to wait for the cakes to be done. And then we're going to get some icing on these cakes and go from there. All right, so here we go. 20 minutes have passed. We are going to test these much the same way that we test anything baked. We're going to take a toothpick. We're going to poke it in here. I can tell just by looking at this that these are still kind of liquidy, which is not what you want, but we'll go ahead and poke it just to see. So there you go. Toothpick's got all sorts of stuff on it. Not fully cooked. Let's do this one. Yep, even more. We'll switch the toothpick around. We'll do this one down the bottom. Yeah, we got all sorts of stuff coming back. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it in for about 10 more minutes, and then we'll come back and check. All right, so here we are, another 10 minutes in. These look a bit more cooked. Let me... All right, same method. We're going to take our toothpick right in the center. Just a little bit of stuff. Try this one over here. A little bit of stuff. Try this bottom one. A little bit of stuff. So we're going to put it in for 5 more minutes. All right, here we go. 5 more minutes down. We're going to do our toothpick test. It's coming back clean. That means that the cake is cooked all the way through. You can do it in a couple different little spots. You know, around the edge of the cake, in the center of the cake. It's coming back clean. So we're going to take these two and set them up top. Go ahead and test this bottom one. A little bit of stuff, but I think it'll be alright. So, alright, so here's our first layer. We just took the pan, we turned it upside down, and this is what we got. We're going to go ahead and put a little bit of layer of cream on this first level, and then we're going to repeat with the next 2 levels. You do probably want to let it cool for about 5 minutes. You know, in other words, it's not coming right out of the oven and you're putting icing on it. So let it cool for about 5 minutes, and then you can go ahead and ice up the top of each layer. So this is what we got. First layer frosted. Be mindful if your cakes kind of rise a bit in the middle, you can always take like a knife and just chop it horizontally. That way you can have nice flat layers of cake. So we're going to go ahead and add the next one and ice that. Alright, here we go. Second layer. We're going to go ahead and take some icing and just spread it around. And we're going to get the sides of this once we're done actually building it, so don't worry too much about that. Alright, so here we go. Second level iced. I went ahead and iced the side just because I realized how much extra icing I have. So we're going to go ahead and ice the sides again once I get the third layer on. But we're going to go ahead and add the third layer and ice that. Alright, here we go. Third layer is added. We're going to go ahead and ice that. Alright, here we go. 3 levels. Iced all the way around. And the last step is we're going to take some crushed walnuts and we are going to sprinkle it all the way around the outside of this cake. So I just got some regular walnuts, used a pestle and mortar, and I just went ahead and crushed them up. So I mean, you can go as chunky or as fine as you want with this. I prefer a little bit finer. So we're going to go ahead and put that all over the cake, and then we should be pretty good to go. Alright, so here we go. 3 levels of carrot cake. We're going to go ahead and put this in the fridge for about 30 minutes to let it chill. Then we'll go ahead and cut it up. And before we go much further, why 3 levels, you ask? Well, it's simple. First, it's easy to do. You saw it took maybe about 30 minutes in total. And it's impressive. You know, when you serve this cake, everyone's going to think that you went out of your way and did a whole lot more work than you actually did. So, 3 levels is our magical number. Alright, so here we are. We've got 30 minutes of it chilling in the fridge. We're going to go ahead and cut a slice here. Well, it didn't exactly come out the way that I wanted it, but we'll just have a little bit of extra left there. But come take a look at this. That is a perfect carrot cake. And there is the hole that was left. But I'm going to go ahead and try a piece of this. Get a little piece off the end here. Oh my God, it tastes perfect. Woo. Perfect carroty goodness. So, there you go. This is a carrot cake. Takes about an hour in total. And before we end this video, I just wanted to say that this video is for my father. He loves carrot cake. And so we decided to go ahead and make one. If you guys have any questions, let me know.